welcome back to my channel. This is Emma, and look, I'm not in my studio. I don't know if you can guess where I am, but I'm on my holidays and I'm in Shropshire, which is a really beautiful county that I've never been to before, and I'm very excited to be here. And I just thought today I'm going to go out with my sketchbook because my husband's off on his permaculture course, having a nice time, and I thought, right, the weather's nice today. It rained all day yesterday, so I kind of stayed indoors and read my books. And today I'm going to go out with my sketchbook and my pencils and my backpack. I've got a little bit of food with me and some water, and I thought you might like to come with me while we'll go for a little ramble up this little country lane, and we'll see where it's going to take us. I don't think there's going to be grand views, nothing very exciting, but I think it's going to be just lovely and peaceful, and I can do a little bit of sketching and show you what I've got up to and how I'm going to put it into my sketchbook. So come on, let's go and see what we can find out. So here's my sketchbook page I'm going to use, and I'm just drawing these little umbles, very simple little sketchy lines, not rocket science, just playing. I'm just looking at the shapes and making some marks on the paper. That's all drawing is, really. Here's a beautiful field with a few sheep in and some trees. This is what you have to do. I'm just balancing my book here. I'm going to show you what the page looks like. This is very easy, more funny little marks. It's not rocket science, as I say. It's just looking and seeing what you see and making some marks on the paper. The lovely thing is when I add water to this is they'll become much more sort of real looking, I think. So this is a lovely field here with trees and a field full of maize or corn, some houses in the distance, and there if I pull you in closer we get a nice view, I think. And down here this is real close foreground. I just thought I'd show you this pineapple weed. And now I'm just going to have a go at sketching it here. Just again, just some lines on the paper. Just scribbling really. Oh, look, the sun. Look, the sun's out behind me. That's making it a bit dazzly. I'm just trying to put some stones in the foreground. As I say, it's all just scribbles and squiggles. Nothing exotic. It's just such a beautiful day. Look at the blue sky. So warm, I can't tell you. It's really nice and hot today. After the rain of yesterday, I'm just really relishing the feel of the hot sun on my skin. So this is the first little picture that I've done, and look at that. I mean, because the background was all painted ready for me, all I had to do was some simple little marks to try and capture those umbles. And if you look closely at it, I mean, they're just little scribbles really, little tiny marks, but together they create this lovely image here, and you get the feeling of the umbles in the hedge. It's quite scrappy, it's quite as though it's moving, there's some energy to it. This was the field with just the trees and the sheep. My sheep aren't great, I'll be honest, but you get this rough feeling that there's something going on over here. And I've added watercolour to it when I was back at the place we were staying. And obviously having some background down to it, it makes it so much easier, because then you can just add splodges of colour here and there, little marks, and it brings the thing to life. And when you add the water to it, it really helps bring it to life. So this is the next one. This is the cornfield with the maize growing, and it had some pineapple weed down here, so I was adding stones in, just little scribbles for stones, and because it already had the background down, it's so much easier to do. And you just pick one that's going to sort of roughly match what you're trying to capture. This was just the edge of a field, and it had, you know, some grasses, it had just the stubble, so I was a bit thrown as to how exactly to do the stubble, but I've just added marks. There was like a track in the stubble here. And again, I think just actually doing this little sketchbook has made me much better at doing trees. I've grown in confidence, because I've never been a great one for doing trees. I never quite knew how to do them, but I've kept it very loose and just done splodges and just shades and kept it really simple. And I think it kind of works, and just some little marks for branches here and there. I've learned to let go of trying to control and making it, you know, in the past I would have done it really meticulously and wanted every branch and every leaf in place. But this is very much about just putting down the colours, putting down the marks, doing it as quick as you can in a way so that you don't overthink it all. And it's a feeling. For me, that's captured a feeling of the edge of that field and this sense of there's a harvest going on, but the trees are still green, you know. And it's all about the process. It's all about enjoying doing it. And this is my little thistles one here. There we go, that's what I did. Again, it's quite loose, it's quite quick, it's capturing sort of shapes, it's not exact, it's not anatomical, it's not botanical, it's just a feeling. And that hedgerow particularly, there was lots of things moving in it all the time, and you know, the grass was moving and the thistles were moving, so I tried to sort of capture that. And I had to use the colours that I've got, okay? So, you know, your colour matching. Green has always been a bit of a mystery to me in my paintings, my little sketches. But I think I've managed to get something out of the colours I had. I've been a bit bolder, and I've just been much more free with it all and not worried too much about getting it exact. And I think that's, for me, that's been the joy. It's been a very liberating experience, I think, doing this sketchbook particularly. So I think what we're going to do next with these is I'm going to put them into the sketchbook. And this is the big moment. I feel as though there should be a drum roll for this bit. I am bringing in my sketchbook, and this is what it looks like with the cover on. Just some very simple scrappy bits that I had left over from doing all the printing. I did a little bit of stitching because I couldn't resist doing a bit of stitching on the front, and it's just playful. It's not meant to be exact, it's not meant to be anything, you know. It can represent anything to you, or it can just simply be an appreciation of the colours and the patterns and how it makes you feel when you look at it. In the back, I just kind of, again, I had all these little bits and pieces left over, so it's kind of like a hillscape, isn't it? It's kind of a landscape. And I think that was very simple to do. I mean, they're just splodges at the end of the day. It's all just very splodgy. So we'll open it up from the front here. Again, lots of leftover bits and a bit of splashing of paint. It's got some print. I think it's got some of the dressmaid pattern on there as well. And I've called it Marks in the Landscape because I feel that's very much what this sketchbook was about. It was taking me on a journey of playing with the marks that I was going to make and trying to be really free with them. So let's just go through. I'm just going to go through the pages, and you'll get a feeling. This was all the printing I did over those several weeks. Oh, and I've stuck a leaf in. I did that before I left home. I just had this leaf from the garden, and I quite like using tracing paper as an extra sort of atmosphere for the book. And I found this little skeleton leaf that I stuck in as well. I was just building up the feeling of countryside, rough marks, that kind of thing. This was the one I used the dressmaking pattern for particularly, and you can see all the little pieces were torn up, so you get a sense of words, but it's not, you can't really read it. And some newspaper up there, and just lots of printing and splodging. So again, you can just be taking these, you see, and just adding whatever you want to, marks in the landscape, and capturing what you see wherever you go. I'm very excited to think I might use this at home as well. I'm very tempted to start taking it out before the winter comes. I kind of want to go down my local environment and go down and have a look and see what I can do from where I live. This one was the one I did the kitchen roll. I don't know if you remember, I did kitchen roll that was just what I'd printed onto and rubbed off onto. And again, little bits of newspaper underneath. And it's got a really lovely texture to it. You can see it's all scrinkly and crinkly. So that was a bit of fun. And that was just some bits and bobs that I stuck on top. A bit of mesh, a bit of newspaper. I'm not quite sure where that one's going. It doesn't really matter. And you get the feeling there's a lot of messy splodges here. Oh, this was a double page. Look, you see that one? If you open, should we open it that way first? There we go. So you've almost got a landscape there already, which is really quite nice. I like that very much. And because it's longer, it just gives you a bit more scope to put things in. And on the other side, I've stuck in some lovely textured cardboard pieces and just splodged on top of it. I had to make it a bit thicker. It needed another layer because on its own it wasn't really very stiff, so I did put another layer on. This was the page that I just literally scrunched up the page and then printed and splodged paint onto it. Well, again, lovely textures. And some of these are just almost, they're almost a landscape. They almost don't need anything doing to them really. Again, bits of paper stuck down, bits of leftovers, lots of colours, lots of lovely colours, lots of beautiful shades. And this one you might remember me doing with all the stuck down pieces of scrumped up tissue paper that just happened to have bits printed on it, and then I added some stitching on across here, and it kind of went in with the lines that were printed there. So I thought that was quite fun to do. Again, it's not necessarily real, it's not necessarily, you know, an absolute landscape, but it's all about capturing a feeling and freeing up what you're doing. All the time it's about freeing up and playing with what you're doing. This one's quite wild. It's got a bit of energy going on there. And again, they're just all ready, waiting for the next little trip out with my sketchbook. I've left a few pages blank, dare I show you those, but if you look at that, right, trying to draw onto that, it's just so intimidating to me. But if you've got even a little wash like that, which changes the paper actually goes a bit wrinkled, so it's already a bit battered, and then you just add some colour onto it, it's just such a different game, isn't it, really? So I just thought we'd pop these in. And the nice thing is you can just think, well, where would I like to put this one? Let's put that one there. And you can take them out if you don't like where you put them. You can move them around. Just trying to sort of marry things up. Now this one's a funny one because it's on the back of something else, so I'll just put that one there, I think. There you go. This was the first one I did. Let's just put that one there. I love doing this, and as I say, you can take them in, you can put them in and out, you can play with them. If you don't like where you've put them, it's very easy. And on a rainy day when you're not doing anything else and you've got no inspiration to do anything in particular, you know, you can simply be messing about with these ones, you know. Oh, and actually I've got one more to show you. This one I did once I got home, a bit like the thistles. I did that when I got home as well, back to the lovely little place we were staying. And I'll just show you what the page looked like before I started on it. And I'll show you the view that I was trying to capture. And I just fancied doing another picture. So it's just very loose. I'm not entirely happy with this bit, but I quite like the contrast with the sort of colours at the back, and I put a bit of blue sky in, splodges for trees, some little fields, autumn fields there, and the little houses, the rooftops. Again, just very simple, just trying to capture the essence of the view that I saw and my lovely day out, having a walk in the countryside in Shropshire. How nice is that? So that's it really. Maybe find a little space for this one somewhere. Maybe put that one there. Yeah, let's put that one there. So I really, really hope that you've enjoyed coming on this film. It's the first time I've filmed outside like that. It was a learning curve of doing it, I can tell you, and dealing with the sounds and stuff, because you get a lot of, I haven't got posh equipment, I've just got a camera, so you get a touch of the wind. You get a touch of the wind from time to time, and I just had a lovely holiday, and I hope you've enjoyed coming with me for a little bit of it too, and that it might inspire you to have a go, not to be afraid of just having a go, just getting your pencils, your crayons out. It doesn't matter what you do, it's for you and for your eyes, for your pleasure, for your relaxation, and I can't recommend it more highly, honestly. It's a lovely thing to do, especially on holiday, on those days when you don't want to go off and do something really adventurous or something really mega, and you just fancy a quiet day. Sit in the garden of where you're staying and just see what comes to you there. There's all sorts can be seen. So back to normal next week. I will get back to my project that we started weeks ago now. We're going to get back to that and get on with it, but I thought this was a nice time to show you this now I've had my holiday, and I will see you again very soon, and we're going to get on and play with some fabrics next time. Thank you so much for your patience in waiting for this video, and it's just lovely to be back with you. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.